Horn Lake, Mississippi, June 2017. It's a hot morning in early summer in a town of about 26,000, located just about 5 minutes from the Mississippi border and fewer than 15 miles south of Memphis. A U.S. Postal Service mail carrier is delivering the mail on Angel Drive. She nears a black metal mailbox mounted on a sturdy wooden post. But as she was about to reach in to drop the mail carrier draws back in horror. Sitting on the ground below the mailbox, tied to the post with what appears to be shoestrings, is a woman. She is clearly dead. Her head is tilted upwards at an angle. Her mouth is open. Authorities are alerted and told that they would find a young woman tied by the neck and jaw to a rural mailbox post. How long had she been there? How many cars passed by the mailbox and never noticed a sight that none of us would forget? If it weren't for all the tall weeds up by the road and surrounding the mailbox, someone would have spotted her hours before. Who could have done this? How did this happen? And why? This week, we discuss the case of Jessica Renee Johnson. Jessica Johnson was 37 years old when her body was discovered on June 2nd, 2017. Jessica was a brunette, and she was 5'3" tall, 115 pounds, with greenish hazel eyes. Even though Jessica was in her mid-30s, she lived at home in Horn Lake with her parents, Linda and David Johnson. This was largely because Jessica was a single mom with 2 children, a daughter who was just 8 years old when Jessica died, and a son who was 19. Until a few months before her death, Jessica worked at a logistics service in Memphis, but lately she was unemployed. Her parents helped out with childcare. Her son lived with Jessica's grandparents, whose home was just yards away. When we talk about who Jessica was as a person, there's a lot to talk about. But one thing that is very often said is that Jessica was very pretty.
Yeah, and you often see this in cases where they talk about the victim's looks or whatever, but in this case, it's like a 100% consensus.
Yeah, she's described by all as exceptionally beautiful.